Let me ask you a question. Are you guys ever going to change the 95-5 split?
No, never. There is staying there forever. It's like put it this way: if like an accounting firm came to Kick and was like, okay, how do we make this more profitable? The first thing they'd see is they'll see, oh, there's a bunch of revenue that comes through subs, and then they see, oh, there's a whole bunch of like money going out, and the first thing they'd say is like, take a percentage of that. But like the reality is that's not really like revenue. That's not revenue. Kick isn't making that money. The creators are making that money. That's not our money that we get to book as revenue. Like in a perfect world, that money should just go straight from the viewer to the streamer. Like Kick shouldn't even see the money. It's like you are receiving a gift. You are receiving a donation. Like the fact that that even goes through Kick system is like weird. It's just like making it more seamless. So that's not even our money to touch. Like we can't look at that as revenue or look at that as an opportunity to make money because it's not our money. That is a donation from your viewers to the streamer, and the platform isn't helping to facilitate that donation. That's you. So no, we're never going to touch the 95.5. I think people sleep on that 95.5 as well. Like it makes a massive difference. Like it's crazy to think like how many like millions of dollars are transferred over. Like even YouTube takes like a pretty high cut. Like how much
30%.
millions of dollars are transferred as donations, and then that just gets taken by the platforms. Like that, it upsets me actually. It kind of makes me angry because that's like a donation. Like it's the same way you don't like fucking take a waiter's tip and like charge it as a fee on the restaurant. But anyway, I don't know. That 95.5, the 5% is used to cover the payment service provider fees. Like we use Stripe, and like we have to like send the money to you and all that kind of stuff that costs money. So the 5%, like we don't even make 5%. Like the 5% just covers the costs. The basically we're giving you all the money that's left over, and we're going to keep it that way. Like Kick was founded on that, and that's never changing.
You guys are obviously going to have to implement ads at one point. How are you going to make sure that Kick just doesn't end up becoming another Twitch where it's just riddled with ads and it feels like it's a very slow website?
Mm. Um, I think the thing is like, well, Kick is fortunate that we're not in like a major rush. Like we haven't been told like, hey, look, you have to make money by this date, or like, there's no mandates coming from above where, say, I'm told, okay, Eddie, you've got 1 year to be profitable, or you've got a budget of X, and you have to like, because when you work in a larger corporation, like there's this thing called budgeting, right? So Amazon at the beginning of the year, or midway through the year, will say, okay, these are your budgets for each business unit. Like you cannot exceed this. You have to hit these marks and whatnot. And naturally, if you're not kind of on track to hit that, you need to adjust. So, my guess is when the ads kind of got a little bit out of control, there was a requirement to hit a certain metric. But yeah, Kick doesn't have that. So I think we can move really slow. As ads roll out, start with really non-intrusive. Like you'll notice like on the homepage of Kick right now, there's like that little banner there. Like that's just us running like an internal ad just to kind of test what it could look like. Yeah, stuff like that is like how we'll do it. Like really, really slow, really, really slow, get feedback and go from there. And if it takes 5 years to figure it out, then so be it. But I think, yeah, just slamming in like 15 minutes worth of ads over the course of 60 minutes is not the answer. So, I think it's really about just keeping the finger on the pulse. I also think that the way that you introduce ads, I just think you need to make sure that it's always going to be led by the streamer. The streamer has to choose that they want to run ads, and they get to choose when the ads play. And then it becomes like an opt-in process opposed to this forced process. That way, if, say, you don't want to run ads, you just want to say, use KPP and you don't mind the clipping stuff and the other sponsorships that you may have, then you don't have to run the ads on top. You can continue to just keep your stream as it is. I think it's a thing whereby you have to leave the control up to the streamers, and then the community will understand, okay, this isn't the platform imposing this is actually the streamer. And then if they want to make a switch, they can make a switch. So I think there's a few sort of answers to that question, but I think the worst way to go about it is to just force stuff upon people and then expect them to not be unhappy.
One problem that I see a lot with Twitch or ads in general is the Twitch ads. You don't know why people hate them so much. One, they run too much. What sucks and what has happened is I have a lot of older viewers, right? My viewers are 30 years old. They're old. They've been around since Twitch, and since you've been watching it, and I've been watching it. And they started watching Twitch when there were no ads. So you had these viewers that came in with zero ads, zero nothing, and they were we were not used to. Maybe we got like a 30-second ad or something, but now ads are so common in Twitch where you get 8 minutes of ads an hour from most streamers. And you have these new streamers, these 20-year-olds that are running 15 minutes of ads an hour. And what they're doing, which is gross, is they're normalizing it. So now when you go to Twitch, you think, oh, 15 minutes is normal. I should be watching 15 minutes of ads an hour. That's ridiculous. And the thing is with the ads is they fucking suck. Like, they're horrible ads. They're boring. They're uninteresting. One thing, I talked to Dan about this, but the problem that a lot of Twitch has is they have email chains of 4 years of email chains that if it gets lost, then they have to restart when you guys just kind of have your own group. I think it'd be really cool if you guys ever implement ads, if you have streamers make the ads. So imagine 5Gum, just an example, right? Chew 5Gum. Instead, imagine if the person that was doing that ad was someone that was a Kick streamer, right? So an example is let's say Ice. I'm just using him. Imagine Ice did an ad where he was doing, he went to a studio, he did the ad, and it's implemented on Kick. And every time he ran ads, it was you saw that the streamers doing the ads. I think it would be way cooler, and it also would be something that's way more engaging for the audience, so they're not as bored with when they get ads. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think if you could allow for sort of a system whereby advertisers can almost choose which streamers they want to work with, and streamers can choose which advertisers they want to work with, can create that sort of more organic and natural sort of cadence too. But yeah, I think it's about adding that support to rather than just, I think you mentioned irrelevant ads, right? That was kind of the problem. You get a whole bunch of stuff which doesn't really make sense and doesn't really work for the streamer. You don't know what is going to be.
Well, it's also bad for the advertiser. It's what do you really get?
Yeah.
I straight up don't understand 90% of the ads on Twitch, how they even go there. And I think they just go there because it's Amazon. You're not making money. They're charging 10x the amount that you would pay anywhere else. And it's garbage ads that no one cares about. I get the ads, I click off the stream because they're so shit. They have nothing to do with me or gaming, and they're boring. When if you guys had more interesting, exciting ads, I think that it would go a lot farther with the community. Whenever you implement them, that's my opinion.
No, I think it's I think adding it kind of comes back to that idea of letting the streamer have more control, right? So as a streamer, this is an ideal state, and it's probably not going to be ready for a while, but you can say, okay, I want to take ads, and you could choose I don't care what ads end up on my stream, I'll take them at whatever price. But maybe there's a world whereby you can say, okay, I only want to take ads in a certain category. I only want to take ads if they're at a certain price. Creating almost a slightly basic version of an exchange of sorts where, and that kind of goes both ways, because then the advertisers can go, hey, I only want to advertise on Mizkif's channel, and maybe I only want to advertise on 2 other channels because all the other channels don't work for me because they obviously it's not where I want to end up. For example, maybe they don't want to end up on some of the IRL streamers' streams, but they do want to end up on some of the desktop streamers. So I think, adding that kind of, system in place where you can be very, very deliberate in terms of which channels or maybe categories you can advertise to, but also letting that also go back to the streamers, because I think streamers can also choose, I only want to work with this brand or that brand. Maybe some streamers don't really mind if for example, there's ads which sometimes aren't accepted on other platforms. Maybe they don't care if it's a more sort of taboo sort of product, and because sometimes those products actually pay more as well. So I think there's a whole world out there in which we can experiment. I think from what I understand, Amazon is super adamant on using their internal ads platform, which maybe is not the state of the art. They're not an advertising company. Well, not known for it so much, at least. So I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes there, but I do think that there's so much more that can be done in terms of just trying to convert people in a more sophisticated manner. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of data side stuff that goes on nowadays in terms of matching ads, but I still think that there's so much that can be done just by simply having an understanding between the streamer and the advertiser about what's going to work for them, and giving that capability. Because I know you've used obviously Twitch ads. You don't really control much, right? You kind of just got to go with what you get given, right?
You click it and that's it. It's dependent on the section you're in. So if you're in just chatting, you will get less ads because the advertisers choose where they want to go. So if you're in specific games, you'll get different gaming ads. But for some like pools and hot tubs, there are no ads. It depends on whatever section you're in. So I know that whenever I'm in just chatting, I make less money. But if I'm doing gaming, I make more because they're whatever companies they're targeting games because it's smart.
Yeah, yeah.